Imagine if every country could remove billions of dollars of waste from their economy every year, simply by changing the way they hire architects, engineers, management consultants, and lawyers. And imagine if the processes they used were already in place and required by law by the federal government in the US. It all begins by abandoning the price-based RFP for professional services. Let me give you an example of the typical waste generated by an RFP based on price for professional services. True story. Architecture firm recently responded to an RFP for professional services. There's about $50,000 worth of fees on the line in this RFP. They track their time to write the proposal in response to the RFP. Turns out it cost them $20,000 of their time to respond to this RFP, primarily because the RFP required detailed pricing. That just takes a lot of time. So $20,000 invested in writing a proposal to try and win $50,000 worth of fees. Not a really efficient process, but it gets even worse because 38 firms submitted proposals to that RFP. So 38 firms invested $20,000 apiece to try and win that RFP for $50,000. So in order to make a decision about which firm to hire for a $50,000 project, this RFP forced the architecture community to spend $760,000 writing proposals. That's more than 15 times the value of the actual project itself. And this happens all the time. But it gets worse than that because we have to consider the costs of issuing the RFP, advertising it, managing the proposals that come in, and having a selection committee evaluate 38 proposals. In order to do that, we probably have to add another $40,000. So the real cost is $800,000 to make a $50,000 hiring decision. Does that make sense to you? Oh, and by the way, the architecture part of this was $50,000. The construction part was $500,000. So the entire project, including building the building, is $550,000. $800,000 just to decide which architecture firm to hire is 1.5 times the value of the entire project, including construction. It's my best guess that in Canada, each year we jam about $5 billion worth of wasted time and effort into our economy because of these inefficient RFP processes. It's clear that the price-based RFP for professional services has to go. So what's the answer? The answer is qualification-based selection processes with negotiated prices after the award of the contract. What that means is fewer cost overruns, better due diligence, and more time for lawyers, architects, engineers, and management consultants to spend doing projects instead of writing proposals trying to win projects. I mean, imagine what a country could do if it could pull $5 billion of waste out of its economy every single year.